today we're exploring the Zuydcoote battery over here, and well, it's basically got some pretty big guns to defend Dunkirk, so let's go there now.
Guys, so we're on the beach at the moment and we came across this. It's a large bunker, as you can see. I mean, compared to me it's huge, and it's fallen off the cliff up there because of loose foundations, but you can see this is different because it's covered in shards of mirror. Now this was a piece of artwork which was done by an anonymous person. There's a label on one of the sides we'll have a look at in a minute that says anonymous and in 2013. Actually, we might be able to go inside.
Well, you can as well.
Anyone have a torch? Because I don't. Well, so some dude's been chilling out here. Alright, so this is inside. These are the main doors over here. You can see they've been closed off from the inside. You've got the steel, it's rusted all across the ceiling. Another entrance on the other side, which has also been sealed up. I might as well go outside, guys, there's not much else in here. So, like Ed Jacobs said, these were part of the Atlantic Wall, which was occupied by Germans when France was taken by the Germans in World War II. Now, the first battery was built in the 18th century, and the rest were built in 1889 by the French Navy, and also the Germans then modernised the buildings in 1934, and then proceeded to use them for the most of the war. There are a total of 13 batteries overall in Batterie de Zuydcoote, as in the individual buildings. I think what we have here is either a door to one of these places, or maybe a hinged covering for the entrance. This, to me, looks like a casemate, and when this wasn't full of sand, there probably would have been a large coastal defence gun. I believe they would have had a range of 26 kilometres. And they would be shooting out that way, which is currently towards Dover and towards Kent. So yeah, you can see the shutters are littered next to it now. They've all three of the parts have collapsed. So if we go down here, this is a broken battery. It's been completely destroyed down here. Now up there, you can see a barred door on the end of that battery. Let's go have a look. Obviously these are built of reinforced concrete, which are reinforced with steel bars built into the concrete. You can see this is obviously not original. They've put this on here to stop you going in. And also you can see the reinforcements in the concrete just there. If we climb up here, might be able to get a bit further onto it. This is currently on top of one of the batteries, and in front of us you can see one of the casemates, which we'll take a look at in a minute. There's also a remains of a stairway down there, which may have been to come up to these when they were originally built, but since they slipped off the cliff, the stairways have crumbled and have been left. So we're going to head down from here, guys, and then we'll go take a look at some of the other casemates or the rest of the batteries. Alright, so this is the front of the casemate. You can see there's a lot of litter in here. It's also full of sand, much like the other one we just viewed.
You see there's a collapsed material as well.
You can also see the reinforcements in the ceiling with these steel bars running through.
So mainly from the walls that haven't been as well reinforced. Usually the material has collapsed over time.
Currently where we're standing, probably right here, would be where the central pivot for the gun would be. If there was one mounted, so it would have 120 degrees roughly angles to shoot from there to there. So it covers quite a large range. And also, if we head to the back, carefully, we can see the back of the ventilation pipe I was talking about.
It's been blocked up though over time as sand's been deposited through.
So I think that's about all we can say for this casemate. But now, we're going to head out and try and either go to the furthest casemate over there, or head up to the one on the hill. Alright guys, so we're just heading up to what appears to be the largest of the structures in Batterie de Zuydcoote. You can see I've walked up all this rubble, which could have either been the, what's the word? Part of another of the larger batteries or bunkers or casemates, or the stabilisation underneath. You can see the outside of the observation post just here.
If you take a look inside now, you can see the structure of it. You've got three sides of bars, which obviously when they were built there wouldn't have been these bars there, and that allowed them to look and get a good view of the coastline and where they possibly needed to be defending. If you take a look around here, you can see the general layout of it. Jesus Christ, you can see here as well along the sides you've got metal bar foundations to keep the structure solid, and it's probably one of the better structured defences that we've seen today.
Some wood up there as well. These have all been barred off to stop people getting in, but they seem to have missed one small hole which we can crawl through. So we're just climbing up the back of it. Just quickly before we go in, this bit of the bunker here, I've been told was to add support to the structure to stop it slipping backwards down the hill, because while the front is reinforced in concrete and all of the structures are based on concrete, but this area here is sand, which makes it liable to slip. So this large angled piece here held it in place so it didn't slip back down the hill, and that's probably the only reason why it's currently still intact, whereas many of the others have slipped down all over the beach except that one in the distance. So if we jump up onto this wall, you can see the top of it here, a couple of sailors, and we've got this hole, and that's where I came through, so we'll go in there in a second. Very elegant. Oh. Alright guys, so this is the inside of the primary, or looks like to be the primary observation post of Batterie de Zuydcoote. Now, all around the edge you've got this like shelf, and this is the hole we have to crawl through to get in. So we're basically crawling out onto the shelf and then we can get out through there. You've got to kind of like pull yourself out to the side and then swing your legs around.
Because
you don't want to go down.
unless
you want to grab it on my shoulders.
I'm feeling like a double front flip off here.
You can either go sideways or you can grab my shoulders and I'll just walk forward so you can get pulled out.
No, that's okay, I'll watch out first.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it, okay? Alright, so guys, we're going to head down into the lower layers now. So you can see you've got like this framed here, this really heavy duty. So this definitely had some extremely heavy, probably like at least 3-inch thick reinforced steel door on these massive hinges, and you can see it's all rusted out now and the door's missing obviously. And I don't really know where they have a door here because there's no stairs, it's just a slope. Unless this was like a position for shells to be hoisted up from down here. They could have had like a pulley system where it just got pulled up to here, and then obviously the people in here could take it, put it in the gun, shoot it out. To be honest, I don't know, so I'm just going to slide down here, avoiding the milli people here. And I'll see you.
I don't think you can avoid the middle. This is how it's done.
I'm going to pass down some cameras. Okay guys, so having just come down from where Jacob's just appeared, well, we're now in the lower layers of the observation deck. And again, still a brilliant view. It's not quite as good as the primary observation deck above, but it gives a very wide spread, both over the defensive Batterie de Zuydcoote either side, this way and this way, but also out towards Kent and Dover, which was obviously a primary threat to the Axis forces when they were here. And yeah, you've got two of these entrances. This one comes from the top, where we've just been, the primary observation point. There's an underground section down here, which we'll go to. I believe these are magazines. We'll go and have a look in a second. We've also got two ventilation pipes. I'm not really sure where they lead, but they've been infilled with rubbish and litter. So we head down into the magazines. There is one large central room here, and breaks off into three sections. Both left and right, we have these small shell stores, and in this one especially you can see what remains of the ventilation system hanging from the ceiling and heading out into the other rooms. That could mean that somewhere around, maybe here, there would have been a air purification system, which you can see in some bunkers, but we haven't found any yet, so yeah, well, there could have been one there. We never know. And then there's more ventilation coming out of here. And then in the opposite side, over this end of the room, more steel frame doorways. Bit of the reinforced concrete coming out, and what looked to be positions for shelves to be set up. And also an embrasure with a steel door, which you could lock using that handle just there. Obviously it doesn't work now because it's so rusted it's seized. But you would have had a hinged flap on there to shut that. So in case this entrance down here was breached and the Allied forces were coming in, the Axis could seal themselves in and provide decent cover of the base of it through this little hole, obviously until they were taken out. And more remains of the ventilation system just up there. So if we pass back through here and we head round to the room next to the main entrance, got some more ventilation. Ventilation everywhere. Obviously, because this is under. Jesus Christ. Hi guys. Wow. Hi Crowther. Got some step thing. Not really sure what, but okay. Yeah, Crowther's in the way now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're always in the way.
Never out the way. Another steel door frame, which could have been sealed if this entrance was breached. And also spaces for guttering, which would have come both sides. Could have diverted any flooding, any flood water, or anything away from the main area of the thing. And that's the entire observation post. This is below the supporting structure at the back. Steel there, concrete there. And that is the entire of this section of Batterie de Zuydcoote. Right, just on my way down to this bunker looking thing here. Don't know if it's accessible. So, here it is. It looks massive. Right, if we go round this way, there's debris everywhere. And as you can see, just there's another pillbox. So just continue around. And I don't know if I can get in there. As you can see, there's a little window there. Don't know if it's worth it. So I'm just round the back of the pillbox and I'm gonna try and climb on the top. As you can see here, I'm very precariously balanced, but those there look like steps down, so I'm gonna try and find a way in. Careful. You good? Yeah. Yeah, I'll take this lamp a second. You want the camera as well?
Yeah.
Oh, don't touch the foreleg. Hey, Raw. Wow. That's completely full up of sand. You've got a ventilation pipe running through between two rooms here. Also, the top of the steel shutter doors are here, which again I think were rubber sealed, so they were gas proof. So obviously that was a major problem in World War I and killed a lot of people. Separate room in there with a bar running across it. Maybe this was like, I don't know, a closet or something. Hang up like their military uniforms on there when they weren't required to be wearing them when they're off duty. And then you've got another room through here. Oh, there was an easier way in, the window. This is a window shutter. They would have had these over the embrasures and windows, so if need be they can seal them so they wouldn't be as much under threat from enemy fire. Before we go out by the window, see if there's anything in here. Just one long room. Leads down to the back if you want to have a look. Yep. Alright then, so let's see if we can jump out this window. It might be a bit too high actually, thinking about it. But there's only one way to find out. Oh no, it's quite low. Oh.
Right, so basically we're here inside a Velblek, which is some sort of small shelter for people, and this is better preserved than the other one we found, but it's really not brilliant. Basically just go back, there's a big collapse there, you can see all roots and stuff. Nice. But anyway, it just goes back a bit and then there's all sorts going on here. Pretty cool, eh?
You can see at the top here. You can see the structure's been made out of 2 curved pieces of corrugated iron. There's like
that's pretty good.
Slit up through the middle, and there's like a nailed foundation running through it.
Yeah.
It's starting to collapse though.
Oh, there's a bird's nest. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like a little one in the wall. Anyway, look, you can see the remains of some sort of blast wall here just to stop bombs from destroying it, but I don't know whether they just did a really bad job or whether this has been destroyed since then, but it is in pieces.
So we've just come to the end of our pretty extensive explore of the Batterie de Zuydcoote.
No, it's a pretty nice battery actually. It's got lots of casemates and bunkers all over the place, and probably would have housed some pretty big guns judging by the size of the actual gun emplacement, probably to defend Dunkirk over there. So, you know, see you next time.